Hello everybody and welcome to the Showcast, a series of candid conversations from film festivals and film markets everywhere, brought to you by The Film Verdict and hosted by yours truly, Matt Micucci. The 2023 San Sebastián International Film Festival in Spain was not just a platform for outstanding films, but also a platform for engaging conversations with dedicated professionals and artists. In this episode, we turn the spotlight on Ukrainians for the Arts, Culture and Education, affectionately known as UFACE. This relatively new association is dedicated to nurturing and celebrating the rich tapestry of Ukrainian artistic values through a range of Spanish and international projects, including a captivating series of live shows for silent Ukrainian films, among them Alexander Dovzhenko's 1930 masterpiece Earth, with brand new scores composed by the renowned Luke Corradine. These scores made their debut at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles in July and were a special highlight at this year's Toronto International Film Festival. Our conversation brings you closer to the heart of UFACE as we speak with producer and UFACE president Kateryna Shevchenko. Together with Luke Corradine, we delve into their mission, vision and exciting upcoming projects. Join us in discovering the importance of preserving national heritage and nurturing artistic excellence through this passionate endeavor. Fire up on Audio Teeny and listen to the audio waves as they fly through the air. This is the Showcast. Kateryna, Luke, welcome to the Showcast. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, man.
This is really fascinating to meet you guys because we're going to be talking about an association that's relatively new, but Ukrainians for the Arts, Culture and Education, also known as UFACE. So Kateryna, why don't we start off by just talking a little bit about it? Can you introduce this association for us and tell us a little bit about its history and its mission statement?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting us here. This association was created this year. As you said, it's UFACE, Ukrainians for Arts, Culture and Education. Of course, I don't know if it's right word to say that it was inspired by war. I don't think that you can say this, but one of the reasons, of course, it's the war in Ukraine. We left Kiev because we used to live with Luke in Kiev. We left 1.5 years ago after war. We came to Madrid and we just felt by our heart that we should do some volunteer job and help Ukraine to have a voice in the world, because a lot of people, they still don't know that Ukraine has a big, great culture with traditions, and a lot of people are thinking that we have Russian language, for example, but it's not true. We have Ukrainian, very different language from Russian, and we have a very big history of our Ukrainian traditions. So we decided to create this organization to help Ukrainian culture and history to reach its audience, to share knowledge about Ukraine and its talents. So from culture point of view. And this is how we created our association. And now we have a couple of projects. The first one, we did a festival of Ukrainian movies in Madrid. We are showing the best Ukrainian movies from all ages, starting from 1920s, which was, by the way, the golden age of Ukrainian cinema. And after this, unfortunately, by history, as you may know, when Stalin started to rule the country, all our talents were killed or forced to emigrate. So we had in cinema, for example, very big white stain. Then in 50s, 60s, it was a little bit better. They allowed to create some movies, but still in Russian language and only on some folk themes, something more about old history and maybe literature, equalization. Folklore, yes. So, and just now when we finally started to find our identity again, the war came. So we need to help Ukraine to have a voice now. This is our mission, and mission also to do collaborations between different cultures. So Luca maybe will tell more about our project, what we did about old silent Ukrainian film Earth. by greatest Ukrainian director Dovzhenko. So you will tell, yes?
Yes.
More a little bit.
Let's hear about this, because we've actually on the Showcast talked about projects where, scoring silent films, which is an art in itself, and we very much champion that. But yes, let's hear about the story behind this one.
Well, it goes back 1 year when we started precisely this week of Ukrainian cinema in Madrid. We started collaborating with the Cinematheque in Madrid right off. And for about a month, we screened a huge amount of Ukrainian stroke Soviet films with the Cinematheque. And suddenly, first of all, there's a very interesting film that came out of that research, courtesy of the Cinematheque, because it was them who discovered it, called The Night Coachman. And that was the first proposal to pass on to me to score a silent film from the golden age of Ukrainian cinema. That was premiered at the Cinematheque, and it was great. And after that came the idea, wait a second, this is a platform, this is a vehicle for bringing these great films back from the past, introduce them again to a Western audience with brand new music. In some cases, it has been done with the case of Ziga Vertog, as you know, the man with the movie camera. Everybody wants to score this film because it's so easy, right? It's like a video clip, it's like Metropolis, and it's a lot of fun for composers. But there are others that are not so popular. And Dovzhenko's Earth was an idea of Katya's idea. I love the idea of presenting this film with a new score, because I maybe not so modestly was not happy with some of the stuff that had been done recently, and it was quite clear. I think there was space for saying something musically that would resonate with new audiences. And almost after 2 months, we had interest from the Motion Picture Academy Museum in Los Angeles and the Toronto Film Festival to actually premiere this material there. This was about December last year, so obviously my ears went up, and I thought, wow, the opportunity, great, oh, fantastic. And, I doubled my efforts into kind of going deeper into the meaning of the film, and to make the music even more analytical and more resonating with the new generations, like what can actually be said that the film is not saying. Because as you know, the film is talking a lot about collectivization. This terrible period where basically the new Stalinist policies took the land from the kulaks, and that was led on to a huge amount of repression and killings and all that stuff. And of course, if you change the music, if you change the vibe of what you're hearing, the message changes. So I was trying to do that, because obviously that needs a review, right? So I will leave it there. I don't want to talk too much, but that was
that's an artistic choice, right? To do that.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
of course.
To, quite deep research, about Zemля. It's earth in Ukrainian, and actually it means quite more wider meaning than just earth, because in English earth, this is like the planet, but in Ukrainian Zemля, it means planet and also soil and also land. So it's like more philosophical name. We went to deep research and we wanted to create this music from modern point of view, how we now perceive that events which happened 100 years ago.
And how do people react to a film that's 100 years old, essentially?
That was fantastic. I mean, the premiere, it was challenging to find the musicians from 2,000, 1,000 miles. I mean, we were in Madrid, so we had to contract musicians in Los Angeles without meeting them, prior to meeting them. So that was challenging. That took a long time. And we knocked many doors, and, there was a lot of, jiggling there. But then when we landed, actually, the organization of the Academy was fantastic. They really supported us. They had a marvelous theater there, which is brand new. As you know, the whole building was built by this phenomenal architect 2 years ago. They have a theater that's cutting edge. They call it our Ferrari. and the sound and everything, and the team there. We were spoiled. I think we had 15 people working for us, plus the musicians. So we had very limited. We were restricted with rehearsals, which there's nothing you can do about that, unions and all that. So we had very few hours to actually practice, and it was not without moments of, oh my God, are we going to be able to pull it all together? Because we didn't know each other as an ensemble, 7 musicians, first time. It's challenging. But in the end, it was fantastic. The audience, we had standing ovation for a long time. And, everybody up in arms and clapping and cheering us. It was like a success. It really was. It was fantastic. And then the Toronto Film Festival picked up on it also, and they screened it a month later. And now we are looking to take it to the same show to America again. We're looking for partners in New York and in other big cities. So it would be great to be back.
Just out of curiosity, have you thought about what other films to screen as part of this series, or are you already working on something, or is there something in your mind that you could work with?
Well, listen, we'd like to do more silent cinema, and we'd like to do more Ukrainian silent cinema. So there are some names that come to mind, like more Dovzhenko, of course, Arsenal. There are names that, as I said before, have been done too much, like Dziga Vertov. That's something I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, but for example, we have this project which we already have. Yes, it's a Night Coachman. It's an old Ukrainian movie with the greatest Ukrainian actor, Rossi Buchma. And, when we started to work on it, we understood that not even Ukrainians, they know about this film. So we are opening not only for the world something, we are opening also for us. And also one of the goals of our association, this is because of very hard history of Ukrainians, we're still looking for our Ukrainian identity, who we are. We are a little bit lost with all this Soviet propaganda. So this is also for us a little bit a challenge to find our voice. We are working on it. So this is the second film. By the way, we are presenting it 2 days in another city in Spain,
in
called
the north,
Vigo.
in a city called Vigo in the north, just along the coast here. It was premiered, as I said at the beginning, with the Cinematheque last year, but it's a score that's for piano, solo piano, and it's very emotional. The film is fantastic. We've played it in different festivals at audiences that just were not Ukrainians, that were just Spanish people, just, regular Spanish people that know nothing about Ukrainian history or Soviet history or nothing. They just come in, they watch some film, and they were in tears. They were like hugging us, and they said, "Oh, guys, this should be played to 1,000 people and stuff." It's emotional content. When you do this film for silent films right, it really is fantastic.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's an amazing. It must be an amazing feeling to bring back to life all these images from over 100 years ago, and it's amazing to find how timeless they are. Really, it's a fascinating project. But Kateryna, I want to return to something that you said when you mentioned that these are as much projects for other people as much as it is for us, meaning Ukrainians. You talked about identity. I'd love to talk about that aspect a little more, and how much this was a driving force behind the birth of this association.
Ukraine, and I'm talking as a foreigner. I'm talking from the point of view as a foreigner who spent 2-3 years in Ukraine and loves the country, loves the language, loves everything about that place. But it's a big country that has been fighting against external aggression for all their life. And it's a big, wide country. For the average size of a country in Europe is at least twice the size of your average, which means that just imagine how many attacks and in a regular space that size in Europe, normally you can have 4 or 5 languages, 6 languages, in Italy itself, or here in Spain, they got 3 languages. So on top of that, they came out of 8 years of communism, 80, and Sovietization, which meant a different language added on top. On the east of the country, as you know, more adapted as their own language. On the west, absolutely not. And that period also brought a sense of reunion. A lot of the Ukrainians, sometimes of the old generations, think about it as moments of friendship. They sort of, this Soviet era, in a sense, and for a lot of people, brought these nations together, these republics together. But of course, that was just a momentary artificial situation that was not exactly in synchronization with the past of the country. Because communism, when it arrived to every single country where it landed, whether it's Korea, Cambodia, you name it, had as a goal to zero in history and society, to flatten it out and to start afresh. That comes from the postulates of Marx and Hegel and all these guys, the theory and Lenin and all this stuff. So it also happened in the Soviet Union to start society from scratch. But that was not in accordance to the past, to the remote past, to the ancient past of Ukraine. And of course, when the Soviet world collapsed, there were new voices who wanted to go back to the roots, to the nature, to the national ideals of Ukraine. And that's where that identity, that duplicity of whatever the Soviet created artificially and the traditions and the folklore of Ukraine started to clash. So some people have it clear. You're in Lviv, and of course they have no problem. When you're in the West, they know what to be Ukrainian is. But also I felt, for instance, that in Kiev sometimes, it's not so clear. And as you move east, now the war has changed things, but as you move east, maybe even not so clear. And sometimes, you're in a sort of in the ether, they're floating between realities. And the war has even added more drama to this duplicity, because now with the bombs and the missiles, even those who had, like, for instance, Katya's father, who was, very friendly to the communist old past. Oh, there was good times there, good times there. Now they found themselves having to rethink about all that stuff again and thinking, this maybe was not so cool. There was something not quite right there. Maybe this was not really friendship. Or maybe Russia wasn't so good. Or maybe, Putin actually is a bloody murderer. They are just imagine how that affects your identity. How you got to think everything again. And maybe you're 60, 70 years old. And that is an effort. That is something difficult to do. And it's happened to all Europeans with the wars. We've all had that kind of trauma and resetting of our identity. Now it's the turn of Ukraine. I don't know if that can set you off.
Yes, and if to talk about the culture, for example, a lot of talents and literature works or artworks or whatever, they were just lost and never. People just didn't have access to this, or like some emerging talent just could be killed and never create nothing. Actually, what's happening now, because how many cinematographers, cinema people, writers, sportsmen now died.
Well, I was going to say that, do you feel like by doing this, you're not only looking to celebrate Ukrainian art of the past and the present, but are you also kind of trying to protect it from just what could happen in the future potentially if it's not promoted, celebrated, not only in Ukraine but around the world?
Yeah, we are trying. Basically, this old film Night Coachman, we would like to restore it. And also we are trying to raise a fund for restoration of this film, because it's you can watch it. It's a great film, but it's still not that kind of quality which can be now. We are trying to do maximum what we can. We are still a young organization. So we are trying now to focus on promoting what we already have and finding something what people maybe don't know to present it to the world, even to Ukrainians, how I'm saying. But of course, I would love to start some project of protecting what can be maybe destroyed in future, because every day we are under the danger that something can be destroyed. And how to protect it, this is a question.
And when it comes to film preservation, maybe who even has copies of this film that we can restore?
This is very interesting questions, because where the original negative copies
I can guess, but go ahead.
Yes, they are in Moscow till now. And we started a campaign maybe 15 years ago with our state institutions to get it back. And there was success of couple of films. There was different methods how to take it back, to buy or whatever. But still, it's just a couple of titles. So mostly all ours, if we are talking about cinema heritage, so it's all in Moscow. So even this film that we have, this is a positive copy, but we still can work with this.
Telecine, to be exact, the Telecine copy. You know what Telecine is? It's like a low-res copy.
It's like a copy from the... It's like basically watchable copy. Oh my God, sorry, I will not explain this in English.
It wasn't really made to last, really. It was just made to be viewed, but not necessarily ideal for preservation.
Yes,
yeah.
See. So
it's a tricky situation. I mean, you're looking to really promote the preservation of a heritage that is really severely under threat. I don't know if I'm speaking without knowing what I'm talking about, but didn't a few years ago happen with the Dovzhenko archive of Ukraine? It had to shut down, or something happened.
Yes, it's still happening. It's still happening. But it's now the question in the pose a little bit, because this was quite a big fight between our authorities. And last year, basically during the war, it happened September 22, the Ukrainian State Film Agency decided to reorganize the Dovzhenko Center, so our archive, and basically without knowledge to move all our copies to another place which was not suitable for this. So the society was fighting all this time, and this summer, finally, there was the last court, because it went to the court, the situation. And this summer, finally, the court finished this.
Pronounced itself.
That Dovzhenko Center is not going to be reorganized. So it's a small win, but we don't know for how long, because maybe next month somebody again decided that it's not so needed organization. But honestly, this is one of the organizations who are now working, trying to do screenings, trying to promote Ukrainian cinema in Ukraine for Ukrainian audience abroad. So of course we are collaborating with them, because they are owners of restored right holders of restored copy for Earth, Dovzhenko. So yes, this is terrible. And this is what I'm saying, actually, to find also our identity. Because even between Ukrainians, we are sometimes cannot find the common solution, unfortunately.
Yeah, and speaking again of preservation, it's already hard enough, because, some people might think that it's just, you just have a couple of shelves and you have your reels of film stacked up there. No, it's a lot more complex than that. And it certainly doesn't need to be complicated further by all kinds of intrigues and behind the scenes stuff, whether it's political or whatever. So I think UFACE can help. And I like what you guys are doing, really. It's amazing. So I want to know, let's talk more about the future, because we talked about this series of screening, but what do you see in the future? What other initiatives have you planned that you can share with us?
Yeah, we are talking every day about this. Okay, what is next? We are a little bit overwhelmed with our everyday operative work, because we have a lot now and we want to show Earth to the world, to different countries. So we are working on it. But for example, we have one interesting theatrical play, actually about the situation where only 3 main locations. It's Kiev, Moscow, and Washington. And all these 3 connections, how they are. Maybe Luca, you will tell better.
Yeah, because I'm the author of this play, as it happens. I wanted to write a dystopian 3 days before the atomic nuclear scenario, a dystopian play with Ukraine at the center, story that would emphasize how the worst of political decisions are taken randomly, superficially. So in this play, which is a small play of 6 characters, we got Zelensky and his wife, We got a bunch of crazy Russian military, nationalistic, patriotic, ultra, And then we got the President of the United States and his advisors. And it's a fun play, it's about 30 pages, and we'd like to take it to the theaters. Madrid has a very vibrant theater scene, drama scene, theatrical world, and we'd like to do it there with music and stuff. Also, we'd like to take Earth to a ballet form. We want to enhance the choreography of it, modify the music, and find partners. We are talking to a couple of opera houses one in Ukraine, in Lviv.
Yes, Lviv Opera is very interested in this project, to create now more than Earth, basically.
Augmenting the work, the cinema.
So inspired by the cinema, so just to redo maybe music a little bit and to do more than choreography about the plot of the film.
We are presenting a Mediterranean version, if you want to call it that, or variant of the story for one of the main theaters in Madrid, which we should present next month. Again, a variation of the music, a variation of the narrative, but with the core elements at the center of this new play, plus the ballet. So
it's a multidisciplinary association, basically. You're not
we would like to take all arts, how it's said. And also, for example, we would like to talk about education. And for this part of our activity, we are trying to do now some kind of residence for Ukrainian filmmakers during our festival in Madrid, to do collaborations with Spanish filmmakers, and maybe we would be able to invite also a couple of European filmmakers and to talk together how we can develop now our association and to implement our mission and to help Ukrainian filmmakers now to basically survive, because the situation is, of course, not very happy, as I said, with our Ukrainian state agency, which has no support. So all projects are stopped. So we don't have financial support. We cannot do co-productions. We cannot do productions. So it's all our own initiatives. So how we can survive now? Yes. So this is my next idea.
We're also in contact with a lot of Ukrainian associations in Spain, but also beyond the borders. And we'd like to get in touch if we can use this platform to extend the call and a friendly hand to any associations that might have interest in our cause in America, in beyond the ocean, for any type of cultural, with the film at its heart, endeavor. That would be brilliant. We need help with restoring some of these films. We need help to show them, to expand the music reinterpretation of these works, to open up doors to new audiences. So all those key points are very dear to our heart. And if if we can possibly extend this call to your audience, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, let's talk about how they can do that and how people can keep up with the news.
Yes, and also we are open for new projects. If somebody has idea how to
help Ukraine and its identity and culture
and follow our mission, yes. So we are very open for any kind of new projects, and people are messaging now me all the time with new ideas, and we are trying to answer everybody and cooperate.
So in terms of getting in touch with us, an email, very easy, UFACE, UFACE, uface.info@gmail.com. Very easy. And website?
Websites, also easy, uface.world. And we also have small pages on Instagram about our week of Ukrainian cinema in Madrid, which calls Semana del Cine Ucraniano, just in one go. And there I'm explaining audience about Ukrainian cinema, Ukrainian films in Spanish. So if somebody speaks Spanish, so
we're international, so people might be listening to. I know we're talking in English, but why don't we talk a little bit about that a little more? When is that happening? What are the dates for that? October?
We are trying now to. We don't have certain dates. We would like to do small edition now in November and then in April. Yeah.
Again, this is another thing to look out for. Among all the news about UFACE. So thank you very much, guys. It's been a great conversation. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. See you soon.
I hope you enjoyed this latest Showcast conversation, an enlightening episode on the invaluable work and passion of Ukrainians for the arts, culture and education. Keep an eye on UFACE for exciting future projects and events, and remember that embracing and celebrating our artistic roots enriches us all. As for us cinephile, you can look forward to more Showcast coverage of the 2023 San Sebastián International Film Festival coming out to you real soon, and while you're at it, why not check out some of our other episodes from this prestigious event already available courtesy of The Film Verdict. Till the next time, this is Matt Micucci signing off. See you soon.